Well, that ain't good. Hey YouTube guys and gals, I'm back with another video working on the old F-150 again. I'm gonna redo the exhaust. It's a dual exhaust system I built probably 12 or 15 years ago, and I need to change it, and I'll show you why. So this is the side of the truck I normally drive it from, and that's where the exhaust exits. There's one just like it on the other side, and it looks just like that. Normally this isn't a problem, except I'm a big fan of glass pack mufflers. They have a nice deep rumbly sound, but the problem with that deep rumbly sound is when you're towing a load and the engine's working hard, it gets loud. So what I'm gonna do is get under the truck, and I'm gonna cut out the old dual exhaust system I put together, and I'm gonna use a new exhaust kit that I bought from Amazon, and I'll show you what that is. This is a Crator, or Crater, I don't know how to pronounce it, complete dual exhaust system kit. You can get this off of Amazon. I'll see if I can find a link and throw it in the description. And it comes with a huge number of different bends, U-bends, 22 degrees, 90 degrees, all mandrel bent and heavy duty. This kit is amazing value for the money. Like some of these things, like this heavy 2.5 inch U-joint, probably cost you 50 bucks just to buy one of them. This whole kit cost around 260 bucks Canadian. If I can't make an exhaust out of this, then I should give up, get a job at Starbucks, and learn how to make ridiculous coffees. So on the right side of the truck, I've got the header, and there's the H-pipe that gave me so much trouble with the transmission pan gasket when I was changing that in the last video. Catalytic converter comes over the transmission support and then just parallels alongside the drive shaft and exits out in front of the right-hand side tire. On the driver's side, same thing. Pipe comes up over the transmission mount through the catalytic converter. There's a little bit of a bend there. There's the glass pack. Goes all the way down and exits out in front of the left-hand side tire. So what I intend to do is I'm gonna cut here. I'm gonna use a piece of 90 degree to bring it over to this side here, and I'll have two pipes running parallel because the gas tank is in the way. I can't really do much there. So I'll have two exhaust pipes. I'll have the second glass pack along here, and the exhaust is gonna shoot over the rear end and exit out just under the bumper. The cat has come to inspect my work, scratch her fleas, and complain loudly about the warm weather. That's right. I'm gonna chop off this end and up just before the bend here and reuse the glass pack muffler and this length of exhaust pipe because it's still in pretty good shape. Actually, no, I'm chopping it off right here, getting rid of all this. Oops, I totally bent my cutoff saw's blade, so now I have to swap in another one. Time to bring out the big guns, my metal cutoff saw. All I'm doing is squaring up the edges so it's nice and straight underneath the truck. Well, I've made some decent progress. I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to do now with the exhaust and how I'm going to cut the pieces and weld them all together in a way that I can assemble it and not have to worry about taking it apart in the future. It's getting a little bit dark now, the mosquitoes are out. I'm going to call it for tonight and get back to it tomorrow. So it's the next day and I'm continuing to work on the dual exhaust project in the old F-150. The first thing I'm going to do is cut out that second tailpipe down there that comes out in front of the right tire, and then shoot the pipe over the axle, something like that, over the axle, and then I can use that as a template for the left-hand side of the pipe. That'll probably be tomorrow. The first thing I'm going to do is cut this tailpipe out. So while the kit came with 4 mandrel bent 180-degree bends, they're a little bit too tight to use as is over the axle of the truck. So I'm going to cut them in half to put in a 5-inch section to give me enough room to clear the axle and the brake lines. So I'm just about to get under the truck and do some welding on it, and I want to mention one thing before I do is always disconnect the battery. Usually it doesn't matter on older vehicles like this where there's very basic electronics, they're pretty tough. But if you're welding on a modern car, definitely disconnect the battery. You could fry some electronics with the amount of current that is passing through the welder. Granted, it's local to the area that I'm welding, but you never know. Better to be safe than sorry, right? No one ever tells you how fiddly all this work is, how much fitting and trimming and cutting and refitting and retrimming and recutting. It's amazing that muffler shops remain open and nobody quits in frustration. Well, that's about all I'm going to get done for tonight. I've got the right side of the exhaust in a happy place where it's now coming over the axle. Tomorrow I'll finish the tailpipe side of things, and I've got some fun welding to do in the tight spots and all the joints that I've created here because this piece does not come out. But that's tomorrow Chris's problem. And it's yet another day on the wet coast. So I'm continuing with the right-hand side of the dual exhaust project on the F-150. And I think what I'm gonna do now is work out how I'm gonna have the two exhaust pipes left and right coming out the rear of the truck. I think I'm gonna have a hanger here, and then the pipe will come out like right about here. Oh, this is a big long piece of pipe. So it's gonna shoot out kind of like this between the hook and the hitch, and there'll be another one on the other side over here. It should be a straight shot right there to where the pipe comes over the axle. Time is short, gonna get at it. All right, so I think the exhaust would look good coming out around about here and around about here. I already have a hole on this frame member that I can hang a strap to. So I'll make a tab and I'll weld one on this side, or maybe just drill a hole in it. So the other pipe will come out like this. I'll get these wires out of the way so they don't get burned up. it 6 inches from the outside of the trailer hitch or the receiver. I can just drill a hole right there. Should be fine. That is going to be perfect. Just like that. So this strap will hang off the frame there, and the exhaust will be just below the level of the hitch. So on this side, I'm going to weld a tab to the frame right here at a 90-degree angle, and that way I can just slip a bolt through the strap and it should hang it at just the right height. Okay, so I have the 2 tailpipe hangers all set up and ready to go. They're about the same height. They just clear under the trailer hitch receiver, and I'm happy with the way this looks. Time to run some more pipe. This went pretty good. I've got the right-hand side of the exhaust tacked up and running the way I want it to, and I'll give you a quick tour of that. I've left the tailpipe a little bit long for some fine adjustment, and I'll just trim it to length when everything is done. This length of pipe is not actually tacked in, because I'll do that when everything else is done, because it's easy to weld around that seam there. I've got my U-bend all done and tack welded. And on this side, you can see it comes over the axle and joins into the old pipe right up to catalytic converter there. This tack weld I'm going to undo, and I'm going to duplicate this piece of pipe because the left-hand exhaust will just follow the same route until it gets to the other side of the differential. And then I've got a little bit of clearance I need to make sure for the differential cover. on the back, but that should be pretty easy. So I'm gonna take this piece of pipe out now and I'm gonna weld it all up and I'm gonna copy it for the left side. Well, it's the next day and it's a nice day to be outside on the wet coast. Today, I'm going to duplicate this pipe that I created for the right-hand side of the exhaust. I'm gonna make the same shape for the left-hand side of the exhaust because it's gonna be identical where it passes over the rear axle of the truck. I'm just gonna do some welding as well. Time to get at it. One time lapse later. I'm definitely a lot faster on my MIG, but I've been using the damn thing for 20 plus years anyways, so I'm not a professional welder, but this should be good enough for an exhaust. It's going to be sitting under the truck and out of sight anyways. I don't have to look at it. I'm okay with that. So one of the downsides to doing a dual exhaust is that there's not just one side to do, but there's the second side to do. Now I've got to fit some pipe from the left-hand side catalytic converter. Go figure. Don't worry, this offending tree has been suitably punished. So I've cut these flat straps that I'm going to weld here and a little farther down just to tie the exhaust together and make it a bit more secure. I'm going to connect another exhaust hanger on this corner here to give the left-hand side of the exhaust a little extra support. And while I'm at it, I'll throw another hanger in the middle of the exhaust for even more support. And now to weld up all the connections. Even with a time lapse, I'm going to spare you most of the gory details. Do the tips look good sticking this far out? You bet. But I just know I'm gonna bang my shins on them, so the last thing to do is cut them off. And here's the finished product. Got the dual exhaust going over the axle at the back there. Got my dual glass pack mufflers, catalytic converters, left and right side. And on the back end, got the dual tailpipes coming out. Got across in front of the differential with lots of clearance. Because I have to get at the diff and change the oil or anything like that, and goes up over the axle. I'm done and I couldn't be happier. This exhaust kit just worked so well. Took me a few hours longer than I'd anticipated. Put in proper exhaust hangers. It looks pretty even. I think one side is slightly higher than the other, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I am very satisfied. Now for the truth test. Let's see what she sounds like. I had fun doing this. I hope you had fun watching it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. But regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.